My name is Ryan Walsh. I'm the Chief Channel Officer with Pax8, a born-in-the-cloud distributor. Like a lot of startups, Pax8 came to be because we were hearing about a problem with traditional distribution. Our partners were frustrated. It just didn't feel like it was built for the cloud. We have cloud in our DNA. It's all we focus on. As we look at the products that we have on our line card, the automation that we've applied, we really think that the difference for Pax8 is the partner experience. We call that the wingman experience. Those two things really make us different. Partners were asking us to have some more options for backup. At the same time, our partners were talking to Acronis and said, you should get on the Pax8 line card. They have multiple products that go under a single multi-tenant management platform. That's just something that we hear about that partners need, and they had it.
I'm Ryan Burton, VP of Product Strategy at Pax8. My role is to vet and discover new vendors for our partner ecosystem. Partners looked at Acronis and brought them to our attention, and they had a really nice platform to be able to manage different type of scenarios, and it was extremely flexible. So not only could I back up to their cloud, I could back up to my own cloud if I wanted to, because they had everything within that one multi-tenant portal. So it was very easy to consolidate and super flexible.
If you're going to deal with the cloud, you have to have automation, APIs. If you don't have that these days, you really can't interact with a cloud marketplace like Pax8.
My name is Craig Donovan. I'm the Vice President of Partner Solutions here at Pax8. Integrations are really key to the MSP space in general for any vendor. When you think of an MSP business, they're trying to manage this really complex ecosystem. They've got billing tools and quoting tools. They're managing inventory and ticket tracking, ordering products, provisioning. All those kinds of things are oftentimes in different places, which is a really complex challenge for an MSP to manage. And so anytime a vendor can integrate their processes into a flow that an MSP is already comfortable with, it really empowers the MSP to be more successful and makes it much more likely that a vendor is going to succeed with that MSP. This is an area that Pax8 has really leaned into heavily over the last year and partnered with Acronis to deliver that value. When we went through the process of integrating with Acronis into our console, it took us about 2 months in total. Right out of the gate, the APIs were easy to use, they're clearly documented, and our team was really able to get up and running. There were a few occasions where we had some new ideas, or maybe we needed a feature that was something that we would like to do on top of what was already there. And we found the team to be really responsive, very technically adept, and easy to work with. It really felt like a very collaborative partnership that let us drive this integration forward.
Acronis' development team was extremely knowledgeable, and they were very responsive. So we were able to do some custom development work for both sides. So it was actually a first of its kind for Pax8, where we were able to do commitment and non-commitment models on a single vendor. So what that means is a partner is able to commit to a tier up front to get a discount, and then we will get their total aggregate quantities and be able to discount based on how many licenses they deploy. So that was unique for our platform. And it took a little bit of work on our side to write custom integrations for them and a lot of work on their end. So the collaboration between teams was very strong.
Good morning and welcome to day 2 of the Acronis Cyber Summit. The results are in from this morning's match. We had the Americans off with the Europeans down on the lawn for the Acronis Cup. It was tied 2-2. Some of you were on the balcony there watching, but it came down tied 2-2, went to penalty kicks, went through everybody in penalty kicks, and came down to Coach Ronan and Coach Pat Hurley, and the Americans won it. Pat made it, even though he was doused with an entire bucket of water. We did save the cell phone, but I wasn't sure he was going to make it here till he got dried off. We have, by the way, great reception last night, and the food has been good at this. Normally, trade show food this has been very good. As a matter of fact, the fish last night, that Chilean sea bass fish dish, was probably the best dish I've ever had at any show. So if that happens to pop back out for lunch, I will fight for your spot in line. For a show of hands, who here, we just want to make sure and do some housekeeping here, who here is planning to be a part of the technical certification training tomorrow? Hands up, please. We're going to need a bigger boat, Gloria.
You got that, John?
That's a lot. Who here is for the sales certification? Okay, we got about the right size boat. Perfect. Okay, also, to be clear, there's 4 breakouts on this floor at 2 o'clock today. They are the reseller track, the service provider track, the ISV track, and the enterprise track. Again, all on this floor starting at 2 o'clock. Got a great lineup of speakers. We will be having our diamond sponsor, Vusion, up here today, so we're excited about that. We've got a great panel here. So let's get the show started. I'll start by getting our founder and CEO back up here, Serguei Beloussov.
Hello, everybody. I just wanted to start the day. It will be real short today from me. First of all, I want to thank you all for coming and staying the second day. Obviously, all of you come for tonight reception, right? How many of you will come for tonight reception? Great, great. At least we'll have some people. And so my story will not be given to an empty audience. The second thing, I wanted to thank you all for coming and specifically thank our sponsors, specifically Diamond sponsors, Vusion, Ingram Micro, and all other sponsors as well. We definitely think this is an event which we are doing for the first time, and we will do event again next year and the year after. It's now an annual event, and we want to have more engagement from partners and more engagement from sponsors, and more so next year. So one of the values of this event is how you here can get value from each other by learning best practices, but also in the future by building enhancements of Acronis platform. So that's me again. So I wanted to just talk why platform. Frankly speaking, this event have started around platform. Of course, when you read the footing, you see cyber infrastructure, cyber platform, and cyber protect. And so, of course, the most exciting product we have is cyber protect. It's going to really change the industry and change the way how people use security products. But most important outcome, most important reason for this event is Acronis Cyber Platform. So most important thing which we're talking about is Acronis Cyber. It's very new. And so it might be something which is not clear. First of all, I want to say that what I've learned in my 27 years in business is that you need to like what you can and love what you can versus do what you love. So love what you do versus do what you love. And so it's very important to choose to do things which you can do. Making platforms is an incredibly complicated endeavor. It involves not just technology, but it involves working with partners, ecosystem. And my team, we have some experience. This is the platforms which we built with this team. One of them is Plesk. It's a platform from the hosting world. Anybody here used Plesk or use Plesk or cPanel? Right? So Plesk and cPanel is about $200 million in revenue. There are over $100 million in EBITDA. It's incredibly popular. There is pretty much every website in the world which is using the platform. The cPanel and Plesk are used by GoDaddy, is used by 1&1. So most of the time, if you have a small company website, it's hosted by cPanel and Plesk. Small company, good profit, growing well, very solid position. Vast majority of market share. Then we build Odin. So how many of you have dealt with Odin here? And Cloud Blue from Ingram. That's a Cloud Blue platform from Ingram. So by now, it's well over 1 billion. It's probably 5 billion in revenue, considering Ingram. Just Ingram is 1 billion. And they have maybe $10 billion in revenue. It's a platform. It's a cloud broker platform. It's cloud application platform. Both are reasonably successful platforms. We've learned from them, and recently we sold a company which was one of the companies I founded, sort of spin-off from actually Parallels as well as Acronis, which we sold for almost $500 million, and it's an ERP platform. So in this team, we have experience building platforms. It takes time. That's one thing we've learned over the past 20 years, and we will steadily move forward and add more APIs, SDKs, and so on. So what is platform? This is the way I look at the platform. So first of all, the platform is API, SDKs, and Stanislav, our president, will talk after me about it, and documentation for that. And we are opening more and more and more. We sometimes not enough, but we will open more so that you can add value. One of the differences in the cloud market is that most of our partners have technical expertise, have engineering expertise to build additional features. And it's developer support, which is very different. Developer portal, where you can find all the necessary information. Again, we don't invent the bicycle. It's basically the same which you was getting from Microsoft for maybe 20 or 30 years, MSDN in our form. It's developer portal. Developer events like this, and we will have more events for developers every time we have an event with our partners, with our growing cloud channel, and with our existing large classic channel. We will try to engage whomever develops anything in our platform to enable them to sell. And solution portal. But ultimately, I just realized that I may have not enough passion, and I wanted to say that most important part of the platform is developers. Most important part is to have developers working on the platform. All these other things are sort of the function of developers, and developers sometimes are enabled by the function, but sometimes they're just enabled by the need. And the way you should think about is a $250 billion market, $130 billion in software, $120 billion in services, which is growing, and it begs for consolidation, and you can build tools for it. But there is one guy who has enough passion, and I just couldn't do any better, and I promise once we have success, I will try to do better next year. But this guy is Steve Ballmer. You've seen this? So I'll do that next time, believe me or not. At least the haircut is already similar, right? So most important is developers. And so why? Why is it important for developers? Well, very simple reasons. One of them, to provide broader protection, more workloads, more data destinations, more policies, like, for example, archiving. We have very limited archiving capabilities in our platform. For example, there are people in the audience who approach me with DLP capabilities. I mean, security is a very broad field. There is a lot of things you can do on top of our platform, leveraging our channel, leveraging our workload install base, leverage the amount of data we manage. Then for you, for service providers, it decreases churn. As long as you customize your services for your customer, you make it more difficult for customer to go to another service provider or to another vendor. It might be small things, and that's one of the things which I've learned over the past 20 years, servicing the service provider industry, first in Parallels and later with Acronis, is that services don't have to be very large to make a difference. So, I mean, the example which I always gave is the restaurant where you eat meat, fish, vegetable, pasta. But the restaurant where you just get meat, fish, vegetable, pasta is not very popular, but the one which cooks them correctly, gives them in the right environment, puts the right sauces in, and the sauces are very small. Most of what you eat is meat, fish, pasta, and vegetables. That makes a difference. And so you can actually make a difference. You can change your offering for your customers, and that will dramatically lower your churn. Customer will get used to the small conveniences which you can build into your offer, and they will stay with you. And of course, every one of you compete with many other people for customer attention, and in fact, many of you compete with each other. Then it's about lowering cost, very practical. In our approach to service provider industry, it's all about how many people hours are needed to actually serve certain number of customers, certain number of workloads. So whether 10 people can service 2,000 workloads, or 20,000 workloads, or 200,000 workloads, or 200 workloads. So 200, you lose money. 2,000, you make some money. 20,000, you're very profitable. 200,000, you have cash floating from every direction of your company, and you spend a lot of money with Acronis Cyber Foundation, and you participate in our sport events and everything else. And so by doing integration, you can decrease amount of minutes, hours, clicks, which is your personnel and also your partner personnel and also customers spend. Then it's upsell revenue. So you have the customers, you can build new services, you can sell them these additional services for additional value. Whether you charge it per gigabyte, you charge it per workload, whether you charge it a one-time fee, nevertheless, it's additional customers. Many of our service provider customers, partners have some very preset number of customers they serve. So number of customers is growing, but it's not growing so much because there is just limited number of customers. And so the important thing is how to sell more. And so by building additional functionality, and it's not difficult, you can sell more. And more importantly, and that's what we want to do for many of you today in this first conference are cloud service providers, and you don't have your own IP per se, which you can sell to other service providers. But what we've seen happening with Parallels from the early days of Plesk, which was started in '99, is that many of the people started as service providers, but they build enough functionality to become software vendors. And so we help you if you build any functionality, any support of some new workload. For example, today we do not support Nutanix. Any of you build support for Nutanix, which does it sound hard? How to build support for Nutanix? You take an SDK from us, you take our platform SDK, you look up what's available open source, you can bolt it together and it will be support of Nutanix. Or maybe, for example, today we do not support Yahoo Mail, right? I mean, anybody of you use Yahoo Mail still? Any people? Nobody uses Yahoo Mail. Oh, come on. You're just shy. I'm sure there are people who use Yahoo Mail. But so, oh, you use Yahoo Mail. OK, very good. So we can build support for this guy over there. Right? But there are many other mail systems which we do not support. We support Office 365 and Google Docs, but that's it. You can build a support and you can sell it to others. We want to enable and bring for you these three wonderful things. So first of all, we have a lot of customers. We're a small company with very large number of customers. 500,000 businesses, 5 million prosumers. 500,000 businesses, huge number of customers. You can sell something to them. Second of all, there is a lot of workloads, a lot of devices which are having our agents installed. If you build functionality on top, you can address all of these installations, all of these workloads, if the functionality is enhancing our existing functionality. There's probably 10 million workloads today, to 20 million in some form, which are protected by Acronis, and the number is growing rapidly. And so anything you build can be for this 500,000 customers and for this 10 to 20 million workloads, and whatever 500 petabytes in the cloud and 5 exabytes total of data. But most importantly, what we bring with this platform is a cloud service provider channel. And we just spoke to some competitors of our current investors, and they just told us that the next year and the year after they foresee is going to be a year of managed service providers, hosters, and telcos, because it's the best channel in the world. Today we have 6,000. In 3 years we have 30 or 50 or 60,000. All this channel is integrated, and it's available for you if you build some functionality which is missing in our product. And there is a lot of functionality missing. Again, you can take open source and integrate. You can take open source and rebuild it for the platform. You can build from scratch. But all of this, let's say 30,000 cloud service providers can be your channel, because many of the things which you can build are applicable to any of them. And in fact, unique thing about this business is that it's very international. So it's much more not about languages, but about bits and bytes, which are zeros and ones in almost every language. I suppose in Chinese they have special symbols for that, but I think they still use zeros and ones when it comes to software. So that is why the platform is important. It is just a start. We soft started the platform in April. This is a second soft start, but the scene with big scenes like Acronis Platform, they come steadily forward. And so you will see more and more and more scenes in the platform. We're growing our team around the platform. We just discussed internal priority in the company, and the priority is Acronis Cyber Protect, but the platform never gets no attention. At any release, we enhance the platform. And with that, I want to reintroduce my partner and the president of Acronis, Stanislav Protassov, who was part of us building those previous platforms. And he will talk about Acronis platform here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergei. Good morning, everybody. I have to admit that I use Yahoo Mail, but I actually was shy to raise my hand. Nonetheless, so that's our vision. It's very simple, and from my standpoint, it's beautiful. We want to protect all your data, and we want to provide you with full cyber protection. And in order to do that, we actually built our solution, and it looks like that from a high-level architectural standpoint. So we have our own Acronis cyber infrastructure, which we talked yesterday, going to talk today. It keeps your data. It keeps the data of your customers. We have our Acronis Cyber Platform, which is the base for all the services which we provide for you, and third-party vendors can also use our cyber platform in order to build new, unique services. So our promise is that we can protect all your data, any workloads, any devices could be fully cyber protected by our solution. In order to do that, we actually build the platform, and we use those SDKs ourselves, and we are going to provide more and more internals of our platform. Right now, we focus on 4 SDKs: data source SDK, services SDK, data management, and data destination. And I want to take this time just to explain you why it's that way. So, data source. There are multiple data formats in the world. Actually, the number is unlimited. And essentially, when we promise to protect any data and any workload, we should understand that for that we need all the time and all the developers, which is obviously impossible and probably not necessary. As such, we need to give people somehow to describe the data format so our platform will understand and use it. And the screenshot is actually a real-life example of one of the integration we are working on. It's actually a medical provider using our platform to keep the data. And when you put the data, definitely for backup, it's enough. But imagine you need to restore one medical record of some guide. How would you find it? For that, our platform should understand the format of those medical records. This is why we need data source SDK, and this is why we are building it. And essentially, it allows you to add the data we never thought of and we never even know existed. And we give you a way to describe those data and support those formats. Data destination SDK. Those are data destinations which we support ourselves. Apparently, I personally would prefer you all to use Acronis cyber infrastructure. Unfortunately, life is more diverse, and you need to support other destinations for you and your customer data. Definitely, the major players on the market, we will support ourselves. But there are multiple other data formats, sometimes very unique and very complicated. It could be multi-part archives and so on and so forth. So for that, you need an ability to add data destination which is not supported by Acronis. And this is main reason why we actually develop data destination SDK and let you actually define where you put the data. It could be one location, multiple location, cold, warm, hot, and so on and so forth. Cross-product integration. It's actually the same medical integration we are working on. They have an interesting use case. Actually, doctors across the United States, they want to share patient data to get the second opinion. And Acronis Files product is just perfect for them. The only problem is that they also want to be sure that the data they put and share between each other, they somehow is not modified. Or when it's modified, they know who modified it. So they look at our Acronis Notary, and they told us that's a perfect service which we can use. As such, we need to integrate actually two our services ourselves, Files and Notary. And we realized that this is quite typical use case when people need to use multiple services together. That's why we are building services SDK. It allows you to build your new service. It allows you to talk to existing services on the platform. And it allows to interoperate those services. And data management integration. We actually keep a lot of data from our partners and from their customers. And many of our partners have even more data. And those data, they have quite a lot of value. And as such, you need somehow to process them to extract that value. Very simple examples could be like deep find. We have find for mail archives, for example, and it's quite popular already. But you can actually search across other data. You can do some business and intelligence service over the data which you keep. You can build some machine learning models on top of your data. You can keep the data in order, in case of the problems, provide you with forensic support. And as such, you need an ability to analyze, manage, and modify the data which are coming both in transit and at rest. And there are multiple use cases for that. So that's exactly why we build those 4 SDKs. Definitely, we are not limiting ourselves to them. This is just focus for today. And this is how our Acronis Cyber Platform looks. So essentially, at the core, it's your data. The most important part of what we have is data of our partners and our customers. Those data are being processed by our SDKs and APIs, and on top of those SDKs and APIs, we have our own services, and we are going to have more and more third-party services. That will allow you to create unique solution. And actually, the best service is the service which is unique. It's sticky, it's difficult to move from. Actually, one of the reasons why I'm using Yahoo Mail is because while being quite rudimentary, they have a number of very interesting and unique for me features. And just to finish my presentation today. So that is components of Acronis Cyber Platform. We want you to build as much as possible new services and new ways of using the data and our platform. We are flexible on how you are going to make money on it. Definitely the most simple way is just Acronis certifying some third-party services, and you are reselling it, and we are taking care of payments to ISV. But actually, we are completely open, and it's still a work in progress, and we can discuss any other ways of making business out of the platform. And in order to move fast and help you with developing the new unique opportunities, we actually have developer support. It includes documentation, a dedicated team for support you on the forum and explaining how to start. Acronis professional services which can work on integration, and we have a program for certifying system integrators who can build it for you. Actually, we have our first certified system integrator already. That's pretty much for today, and we are going to have some more session about the platform, and please feel free to come to our developers and talk to them and start working with us today on building new opportunities. Thank you.
Okay, I'm excited about this next speaker. We have Karen Alazari coming. She is a recognized researcher, author, and speaker on all matters cybersecurity and the hacker culture. She's been featured in CNN, the